The Joe Rogan Experience.
And last thing I wanted to do, Joe, honestly, is go on TV, and because I never went to culinary school. I just been cooking through my, that was my career, and it's what I did as passion, and living in France and all that
You
shit.
opened up a restaurant without ever going to culinary school?
Never.
Is that unusual?
I think it's probably 60-40.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
60-40 that go to school? Or
60 go to school.
That's
I
a
don't know.
lot that don't, though.
I could really be off on that. When I do diners, drive-ins, and dives, 60% don't go. A lot of the mom and pops. And that doesn't mean that they don't learn. I mean, some of the best chefs I know haven't been to culinary school and just are super smart at learning and dig in. A lot of education, a lot of research, a lot of trial and error, a lot of putting yourself out there. You got to be willing to fail. Like, I don't really think you can be a good cook if you're not willing to fail. I mean, if you stay in your lane so much, I just think that you get better chances to, let's think about fighting. Think about things you've learned. All the education in martial arts and boxing and all these different perspectives that people take to be in it. It's usually the one that has a pretty good, a narrow focus on something they really, really love, but then having the outside perspective. So for me as a chef, having the ability to understand Indian food, there's such a depth there that I'll never hit the bottom. I'll never touch all the opportunities that there are. But anyhow, so back to that, I made the demo tape, and I made it so ridiculous that there's no way. There's just no way they were going to pick me.
What'd you do in the demo tape? Do you have it?
You guys, I think you can find it online.
Find it?
It's.
Hold on. Put the headphones on.
I can't believe I just told you to look
the
for it.
headphones
Oh,
on.
you guys already have them? God damn it, you set me up.
I didn't set you up.
Did you really get it that fast?
Jamie just pulled it up.
Jamie, did you pull it up that fast?
Listen,
Jamie,
Jamie.
welcome to Sonoma County, California, home of true wine country cuisine. Today I'm going to prepare a dish for you, not in fusion, but in confusion. I'm going to do a gorgonzola tofu sausage terrine that will be served over a mildly poached ostrich egg. Now, since we're in the wine country, I'll be serving that on grape nuts, and done with a delicious pickled herring mousse right on top. And, oh, I know, delicious. It sends shivers up my spine. No, seriously, folks, real food for real people, that's the idea. See, it's all getting messed up. People are trying to take everything off the shelf and jam it onto a plate, and that's not what it has to be. I learned how to cook out of survival. My parents were going through this macrobiotic cooking in the late 70s, and I had enough bulgur and steamed fish to kill a kid. So the idea in our family was whoever made the dinner got to decide what it was going to be, and being of Italian descent, pasta was always one of the keys. I went and studied in France and then came back and got my degree at University of Nevada, Las Vegas in restaurant administration. Been a district manager in Los Angeles and moved up here to Northern California to open up 3 different concept restaurants. What I'd like to talk to you about and what I think I could do as a Food Network host is teach people about real food, real people. Get it to the basics. Great product, great equipment, great ideas. See, anybody can read a cookbook. Anybody can come up with a simple idea. But the idea is bringing it to the table. I take people's imaginations and put them on the plate. Let me show you one of my favorite. I was on my way back from Houston where I was down there learning
Can't
about
believe you're
Southern
making me
style
go
barbecue.
through this.
And I came up with this
Sorry.
idea about how to take Southern style barbecue and mix it into Japanese cooking. See, in Japanese, sushi does not mean raw fish. And that's what people think it does. It means seasoned rice. So I take a little bit of seasoned rice, a little bit of smoked pork butt, and we put this together here in a dish with a little of our American favorite, French fries, and mix this together with a little bit of the California favorite, some avocado, and I came up with this idea. And as I was doing this, a buddy came around the corner and he says, "Guido, what are you doing?" He says, "You can't put that into rice. You can't make sushi out of barbecue. What are you doing, you jackass?" And that's what this dish is called. It's actually called the jackass roll. So we mix it up, we serve it over. The idea about cooking is not just about great food. It's about putting all the pieces. Do you have a sharp knife? Do you understand sanitation? Do you know where to get it from? And do you know how to tie all the components together? You see, my idea about it is there's so much more to teach. As a restaurateur, people ask me all the time, how do you do it? I can take the restaurant and bring it to the home, and I think that would be something that would be sellable. My name's Guy Fieri. My friends call me Guido. You can now consider me your friend.
So I send it to him. And I sent it on a DVD because my buddy that filmed it worked at the TV station, and he burned it from the camera and put it on DVD.
Back in the old days.
So I sent it in. That's it. I did my deal. I said I would do it. I did it. So it gets in. 3 days later, late at night, 10 o'clock at night, Lori and I are sitting, my wife and I are sitting on the couch watching TV. Home phone rings. She goes, no. She's from Rhode Island. She's from North Providence, so she's a little bit tough on the phone at 10 p.m. You know, like, who's calling at 10 p.m.? No, I don't know where he is. No, he's not here. I'll take a message. No. Yes. No. She finally covers the phone. She goes, it's the Food Network. Bullshit. Food Network. It's one of my buddies being a jerk off. So I pick up the phone. I go, hello, Food Network. Blah, blah, blah. You know. And they said, is this Guy Fieri? And I'm like, okay, so I know it's not, because it was one of my buddies. They would have said, you know, Fieri. So she goes, yeah, we got your DVD, and we'd like to talk to you about it. And we want you to be on the show. I said, well, okay, what does that entail? Well, there's a contract that'll be on your door tomorrow morning. We FedEx it to you. So I get the FedEx, and I look at it, and I give it to one of my attorney buddies, like, man, they own your ass. If you sign this, they're going to own you. So he redlined a bunch, and I sent it back to him. They called me back and they said, you can't redline the contract that we're sending you. This is like, you want on the show or you don't want on the show.
What is, like, when you say they own you, like, what do you mean?
Oh, he says, you know how a contract goes when you get into TV. I mean, there's like, you know, we've got you for 36 months. You can't do any other production, you know, whatever.
36 months?
I don't know.
Really?
I didn't. Don't quote me on any of it. All I know is I had never signed an entertainment contract at that point.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of them are pretty predatory. They
Yeah.
take advantage of the person that doesn't have any exposure. If you're going to become a star, they want to profit massively off it. And
so that's where it kind of, my guy said to me, he goes, yeah, you have your own restaurant, you're doing your own thing. What are you doing? What are you getting on TV for?
right.
And so long story short, I went, Lori and I were pregnant, 8.5 months.
You were
months.
pregnant too?
Yeah, well, that's what I call it. I held the baby weight. So anyhow, I got on the show. I got there. Everybody's standing there buttoned up in their chef coats. I walk in, and I'm in New York. Never been to New York. I'm in flip-flops and shorts and a yellow leather jacket, and I walk in, and everybody's like, you know, all puckered. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is not going to go well. This is going to be a shit show. And I just said, you know what? You got to give it a shot. So I just went in. I was just me, did what I do. I won. So I won the show. And what you win is a 6-episode cooking show, which they ran at 7 a.m. on Saturdays. I mean, it was the worst time slot in the world. But they gave me the show, and I did good. And they gave me another show, and I did the show, and I hated it. I did the pilot, and I hated it. And I'm like, I can't do this.
What was that show?
It's called Gotta Get It. I don't think you're going to find Jim. You're not going to find this
He'll
thing.
find it.
No, Jesus, please. I don't think it was never aired. So what it was a
He'll
show.
find it.
It was a show about. It was a show about kitchen gadgets, and I'm not a kitchen gadget chef.
Oh, so it's like you got to get one of these Cuisinarts.
It wasn't even that good. I mean, it was like avocado slicer. I'm like, if you can't slice an avocado, don't eat it. I mean, you got a problem. But there was a cool one. There was a oven that talked Bluetooth to your phone, and that was way before Bluetooth stuff was really going on. There was a 2-stroke weed eater mower with a blender on it, and that was the coolest one. I made margaritas in that, and so anyhow. But the one they gave me that sucked the worst, or the one that I wasn't excited, was they gave me a ball, like a hamster ball. Remember the hamster balls? You put the hamster and run around the house. But you'd pour cream and vanilla and sugar and all this in a ball and then throw ice cubes in it, and then you would roll the ball around, kick it around, and it would roll and it would make ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
So, not for a guy that has a sushi barbecue restaurant and, you know.
Yeah, how long does it take
culinary,
to make ice cream by kicking a ball
I
around?
don't know. Too long. I was
thinking that's fun, but then I thought, no, how much time?
Go kick it when you're in flip-flops. So I did the whole thing, and they called me a couple weeks later, and they said, hey, congratulations. The show got picked up for 13 episodes, primetime. I'm like, oh, I gotta be honest with you. I'm not going to be able to do that show. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, it's not. So it went through a series of people, like executive from the production company, the owner of the production company, yelling at me, telling me he wasted all his time and his money. I said, hey, nobody told me that if this got picked up, I had to go do the show. I thought it was a discovery for you, a discovery for me. I don't know shit from steak sauce about how this all works, which I quickly turned that. I was not going to be inside of the TV business and not be really aware of what goes on. So, finally, the president of the network called me and she said, you're burning a huge opportunity. Brooke Johnson, you're burning a huge opportunity. I said, Brooke, it's all to me about authenticity. I said, I don't need the paycheck, and I said, I'm happy with my life. I love what I do. I like my cooking show called Guy's Big Bite. You know, I cook food the way I want, call it what I want to call it, make it the way I want to make it. And I said, I just don't, me and gadgets for cooking is just not a thing. She goes, well, you might not ever get a shot like this again. I said, I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I just don't want to do it. And she said, okay. And that was it. But fortunately, 6 months later, they called me back and said, we're going to give you one more shot. You're going to be a food critic. I said, nope, thank you. They go, hold on. Why not? I said, I'm not a food critic. I'm a cook. Last thing I'm going to do is go in and tell people they're doing it right and wrong. That's like someone going and telling somebody they don't like their art's wrong. Bullshit. That's not my style. So they said, well, okay, it's not that. It's not that. You go around, this was the key word, you go around to mom and pop joints and you just eat the food and talk to the people. My God, I can do. That's my style. I said, what's it called? Diners, Drivers, Dive-Ins, and Dines. I said, what? They couldn't get the name right. No one ever gets Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives right. That's why we call it Triple D all the time. I said, I could do that. I could do that. That sounds like dives. I love dives. I don't know a lot about diners because we don't have many of them on the West Coast. And drive-ins, I love. That was always special to me to go to the A&W drive-in when I was a kid. We didn't eat fast food when I was a kid. So when you went there, that was like big deal. You know? And that's how I got going.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, it seems like it's hard to find because once they started making personalities out of chefs, then you have to find authentic personalities who are good on TV that are actually cooks. So it's kind of a little bit of a dilemma because chefs aren't necessarily the kind of people that you want to have in front of the camera for the most part.
I deal with a lot of them.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that everybody, when you get people comfortable, as you know, you get people comfortable, you get them talking about themselves, you get them in a zone where they feel good and they relax. It's it's what you do here. I mean, I watch. People have a gift of storytelling or have history, and what can people talk best about themselves or their history or their passion? And that's what I did with Triple D. Is I just went in. I remember the first one we ever shot. I'm standing there talking to the guy about the thing, and I'm pouring coffee behind my back. People are bitching at the counter because we're right in the middle of an active service in the diner. And I'm pouring coffee and pancakes burning, and I flip the guy's pancake, and I'm like, so how long have you been making the, yeah, hang on a second. He needs an order back, And I asked all my questions I was supposed to ask. And the producer at the end goes, cut. So what, come here. So what the hell was that? I said, slow your roll, bro. I said, I asked every question you asked me to ask. I said, I didn't stand there and do it like PM Magazine. I was in the mix with the dude, but I asked all the goddamn questions. And he's like, can you do that again? I said, I did stand on my head. This is what we do in the restaurant business. I said, we work and we talk and we joke and we laugh and we bust balls and we do, that's what we do. He throws his clipboard on the ground. We've got a hit. And then we went around the country for the next 3 weeks and shot more locations and put that together into the pitch.
So I don't understand. Was he pretending to be upset or was he upset until you explained it to him?
He was kind of an upset guy.
Oh,
so
fun.
But it worked out.
That's the problem with TV, is dealing with upset people.
Well, and the thing is especially people that don't understand TV. So when I started Triple D, I just treated my fellow chefs, restaurant owners, like we were in the kitchen. Have fun. I tell them all the time, I want you to say whatever you want to say. If you want to drop 50 F-bombs, if you cut yourself, if you drop a thing on the floor, if you shit, goddamn, if it's not right, don't worry. We'll stop. We'll fix it, and we'll go forward. But I'm never going to make you look bad. I promise you that. I'll never make you look bad. You'll look great. Sometimes we stop. I go, hold up. Let's hold up. What do you drink? Jack. Can we get him a shot of Jack, please? And we'll sit there and shoot the shit about his favorite team or talk about it. I always start talking about people's family right off the bat. Talk about the family. It kind of puts people on the same playing field. Not a game, just a reality.
No, I understand. I get it. Well, that sounds like a fun thing to just drive around and go to people's restaurants and see how they do things and see the history behind it and what was their dream. How satisfying is it to have this place and feed all these people?
You meet the people that are just, bring tears to your eyes. There's so many stories, so many. We've done like almost 1,600 locations, and it's just mind-blowing to be in the restaurant business and to watch these people, what they put into it, and how many sacrifices they've made, and then how many success stories we hear. And it is probably one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done in my life.